Hello. Chainsaw Man chapter 211 came out today, and we are going to talk about it. So, as a whole, not that much happened. Um, the Death Devil quickly tells Denji what's happening. She says that Yoru is killing devil hunters to make a army of devils. She also says that Yoru is going to kill her, erase her, and Denji. Use Denji as a chainsaw to erase her to get rid of the concept of death so that the world can be in a never ending world war. So, yeah, that's about what most people guessed back when Asad had her outburst about Yoru's unimaginable, terrifying end of the world situation. Um, let's see. I like the detail of the Death Devil clarifying that she is trying to the War Devil Yoru is trying to start the Second World War because in their world Pochita erased World War II and most things related to it. So, as far as an average person in this world is concerned, they only had one World War. So, yeah, that I like that. But otherwise, most of it we kind of already know or have guessed. Um, so another thing is that the Death Devil claims she have changed the future, but she didn't expect this, which is kind of weird because this is like the most obvious outcome, I would think. So I think what we're getting out of this is that the Death Devil is also kind of an idiot. But personally, I don't think that she actually changed the future in any meaningful way. Because when the future devil gives you a prediction, it's usually unavoidable as far as I wouldn't say as far as we know, but like from what we know of the future devil's personality, he doesn't give you predictions so that you can change them. He gives you predictions so that you can like make a self-fulfilling prophecy. So I'm not all that convinced that the Death Devil actually changed anything. But anyways, Mary the sword man shows up. For some reason, Denji doesn't recognize him, even though he is a big part of Nayuta's death. But he's been through a lot, so maybe his memories are a bit jumbled up. But anyways, the Swordman asks for Denji to cooperate and asks the Death Devil to show him her stomach because her insides are empty. So he thinks that that's going to convince Denji of the Death Devil's identity, which is a bit of a weird assumption because in the world of Chainsaw Man, there's a lot of people with weird body defects. So it's even if Denji sees her the hole in her chest stomach, it doesn't necessarily mean that that's a confirmation that she's the Death Devil. But another thing I found weird is that the Mary here, he knows about Death Devil's identity apparently. I was under the impression that they were just being manipulated prior. Because back when Mary was in the church, he was taking orders from Barum. So the impression I got was that none of them knew the Death Devil was working with Barum to get all this down. So the fact that he knows about her identity is a bit strange to me. Maybe in the time that Denji was unconscious, they had a little briefing get together to catch up on what's happening. But anyways, the Death Devil shows Denji her stomach. But Denji doesn't care about that. He is focused on the legs and panties, and he agrees to work with them. So, and that's the end of the chapter. So, overall, It's all right. Um, I do wish that we can move on from the Denji being a perv deal. I feel like it's a little overplayed for my own tastes personally. And an unrelatable part is like him being attracted to just the legs when there's like a big hole in her body. Big, not even a hole, it's like a curtain of missing organs. Because if, like, I'm putting myself in Denji's shoes, right? If I see an attractive lady with a big missing piece of her body, I would be concerned about the gaping hole in her rather than her legs. So, as a whole, it's okay. Um, my biggest takeaway of the chapter is that the Death Devil, I'm not calling her Little D, the Death Devil is kind of a giant idiot in that she didn't see this outcome. Because this whole time she's been trying to power Yoru to be strong enough to erase her. And I just feel like this Yoru going wild is the most likely outcome based on everything we know and she knows. So the Death Devil is less of a master manipulator than most of us thought her to be. Because for most of part two, I was like on a weekly basis making big guesses about what her plans are, what her strategies are, what her whatever, you know. But ultimately, doesn't seem like it amounted to much. Yeah, not so overall. And as far as like the information we got out of the chapter, not that much, nothing too new. Yeah. Let's see. If we have any, see the chat. Hello, this is a good chapter not to show in YouTube. Yes. Speaking of which, YouTube is apparently rolling out a like what was it? Like a age confirmation for YouTube accounts where like if they think you're a child, they'll have to see your ID and some stuff. I don't really know what's going on there. Pretty scary stuff. I don't know how their AI is going to work as far as like how it's going to affect me cuz I make videos about Chainsaw Man. I don't know if that's going to register as like a cartoon, as like a childish thing or it's going to I don't know what's how that's going to work. I don't think they do either to be honest. So, going to be a wild couple of weeks on YouTube. Um yeah, so hopefully no one that's watching is under the age of 18. But anyways, Denji at the end of a chapter. Wait, what am I doing again? Your thumbnail encapsulate everything this chapter beautifully. Yeah, I was actually struggling a bit to find the thumbnail. I was thinking maybe I can like just do the Death Devil's legs, but that feels a bit yeah, I don't know if YouTube AI will like that if they recognize its legs. Because when I try to make thumbnails, I try to make them as spoiler free as possible. So there's also the fact that if an unsuspecting viewer sees like a pair of legs, they might somehow guess what happens. But let's see. What else? Is Yoru's goal one of the 9 circles of hell from Dante's Divine Comedy? Her goal reminds me of the 7th level of hell violence. People don't die but are in a never ending cycle of violence. Yeah, that could be. I don't know if that's what Fujimoto is specifically trying to reference. I can't think of because in the throughout the series there's like a bunch of biblical references. I don't know if there's any that's like specifically Dante or the Divine Comedy or whatever. There was all right, I only read like the Divine Comedy through like summaries and Spark Notes. I don't think I ever picked it up and read it directly. There was a couple like the supposedly Pochita's worshippers from part one. I know their names are the different angels, different ranks of angels. I don't know if that's like something that the Divine Comedy did. Um, yeah, that's about all I can add to that. Let's see. Interesting dilemma Denji is in now. He either helps Flasher D, causing death to something everybody due to her limit break, or help Yoru and humanity reach immortality but are forever in war. Yes, because if he helps, or not helps, but if he beats Yoru, that might mean that the Death Devil kills everyone, which in this case could be a preferable outcome. I think I made a video some time ago about what Denji's gonna do at the end. I say maybe he's gonna destroy the world because everyone he cares about is dead and humans are terrible to him. So in this case, I guess that would mean that he chooses the option that's worse for humanity, which is helping Yoru. Although I'm not convinced now because both options seem pretty bad. But yeah, at this point, I'm kind of just not really making any predictions anymore, just because all of them have been wrong. Let's see. Wouldn't Yorus fail due to humans becoming trees? Even if they fight each other for decades, Aging Devil showed that humans become trees after a while. Yes, that's a really good point. And yeah, when they because the Aging Devils Road show humans apparently become trees after living for a couple thousand of years. So in this case, their suffering would end after an eternity, a couple millenniums of fighting. So that could be something that they overlooked. I guess most of the other devils aren't privy to the Aging Devil's knowledge, because the Aging Devil keeps his trees in his own world. So I guess Yoru wouldn't know about turning people into trees until recently, where she was trapped in the Aging Devil's world. But she is also kind of a dummy, so she probably didn't take that into account. But yeah, but no, that's a good point in that Yoru's plan may not be as foolproof as expected. Let's see. Important fact: Fujimoto drew 8 panty shots. Did he? I need to confirm this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yes, that is 8. Some might say it's a little excessive as far as panty shots go. Like, speaking personally, panty shots never really. I'm not the biggest fan of them. Like, I don't hate them, but it's like they don't do anything for. I feel I don't know. Maybe it's like a Japanese culture difference, but it's like I never panties just never. It's never my thing. It's never my thing. But let's see. To be fair, showing her stomach did convince Denji. Yes, it's I think it's maybe a running gag with Miri where he tries to convince Denji to do something often, but then he gets to the right answer, but like a wrong method. It's like when he tried to get Denji to join his church, and his plan was to, or I guess his selling pitch was to get Denji to join them because they are moral and good and whatever. But then Denji only turned after he heard that he gets a free sex ticket. But yeah, let's see. Yeah, Denji probably didn't really see the hole on their chest. Denji's very short-sighted in that regard. Denji went on a whole enlightenment arc in part 1 about how being teased is true lust by Makima, all the way with death flashing. Yeah, I think he did. But I don't know. I do feel like I would prefer Denji to evolve a bit beyond just being lustful. I feel we should be past that point for now, but alas, that's what Fujimoto wants to do with him. But yeah, anyways, overall this chapter not that much happening, so I guess that's about all I have for now. Some comments from last week. So Mumbies said that the naming thing makes sense because most scientific discoveries are made by or named after those who discovered them. He doubt Pochita erased the concept of nuclear energy, since plutonium and stuff disappearing wouldn't make sense and were probably discovered by the same person. I don't know about the same person, because in universe, it's been 50 something years since the nuclear bomb is supposedly discovered. So the original scientist, the Oppenheimer of this world, has probably been dead for a couple decades now. But but overall, I do agree that it makes sense for them to rename it nuclear bomb, just because the uranium and whatever still exist. And this is something I had difficulty rationalizing for a bit, but I guess it makes sense, because if you have like milkshake, you erase the concept of milkshake, but then you blend ice cream and milk together, you still come up with a milkshake. So that's a very American way for me to rationalize it, but yeah, I guess it's fine. Um, this guy says I'm finally getting the views I deserve. Sounds sarcastic because I'm not really getting any views, but he has been. I see him comment here and there, so I appreciate the thoughts. Do I think the power up that Yoru got by the nuclear bomb will also power up the bomb devil? Yeah, it definitely will, but the only thing is that it's gonna power up the bomb devil, not Reze herself, because the hybrids, as far as we know, don't get the devil fear buffs that normal devils do. Um, yeah, I'm pretty sure there's. I'm pretty sure the Death Devil said that. I confirmed that in one of the recent chapters, but I haven't really went back and checked. Unrelated, but did you watch Gundam Wing back in the day? It's their 30th anniversary. I have never watched Gundam, any of them. My memory with Gundam as a child is one of a my mom's friend gave me a Gundam pack, and I tried to build it, but I cut myself on one of the pieces, and I never touched the Gundam again ever. Yeah. To be honest, I don't really watch anything mecha. I don't watch any mecha anime. The closest thing was Attack on Titan, but otherwise, I don't really. Yeah, mecha's not really my thing. Yeah, I guess I watched the first season of Code Geass. Yeah, that's about it. I think I did try to get into Iron Blooded Orphan when it came out, but I didn't really keep up with it, and there's just so many other Gundam series that it's like overwhelming to even try to get started. I heard a couple of them are actually pretty solid. But yeah, appreciate all the comments. I don't know if I sounded like Ming about this one, about me getting the views. I didn't mean to be. No, I do appreciate the positive comments, or just any comments in general. But let's see, where was I? But yeah, that's about all I have for the week. Let's see. But yeah, there is gonna be a chapter next week as well. So yay, no bi-weekly this time. So I'll see you guys in 7 days.